The Galactic Council Hall was larger than any building on Earth. It was not shaped like a room made by humans. It had no sharp corners and no straight walls. Everything curved gently, like it had grown instead of being built. The ceiling rose so high that it faded into soft light, and the floor shimmered with faint lines that moved slowly, as if the hall itself was breathing. Hundreds of beings filled the space. Some were tall and thin, with long necks and narrow faces. Others were wide and heavy, their bodies supported by many legs. A few floated slightly above the floor, surrounded by quiet fields of energy. Their colors ranged from dull stone gray to bright blues and greens. Some wore armor. Some wore robes. Others wore nothing at all. At the very center of the hall stood a single human. Anna Reed looked small there. She was not tall, not strong-looking, and not impressive at first glance. She wore a simple dark uniform with the symbol of Earth stitched on one shoulder. Her brown hair was tied back neatly. Her hands rested calmly at her sides. Her face showed no fear, but no pride either. She stood straight, her feet firm on the glowing floor. Anna had trained for this moment for years. Earth was new to the Galactic Council. Humans had only reached faster-than-light travel a few decades earlier. Compared to the ancient species around her, humanity was young, loud, and inexperienced. Many council members saw Earth as weak. Others saw it as dangerous. Most simply saw it as unimportant. Anna was here to change that, though she did not plan to do so with loud words or bold threats. The council session had already gone on for hours. Species after species had spoken about trade, borders, science, and defense. Some talks were calm. Others were sharp and tense. Anna listened to all of it. She watched how they spoke, how they paused, how they showed anger or respect. Humans survived by observing first. She knew that well. Finally, the discussion turned toward Earth. A tall alien stepped forward. His body was covered in smooth silver plates, and his eyes glowed faintly yellow. His voice echoed through the hall without effort. "Earth," he said, slowly and clearly. "Your world is rich. Strong gravity, harsh weather, dangerous life. Yet your species is physically fragile compared to many here." Several beings shifted in interest. This was no insult, only a statement. Anna kept her eyes forward. The alien continued. "We wish to understand you better. On many worlds, survival is shaped by a single dominant creature, a ruler of land or sky. Tell us, what is Earth's apex predator?" For a moment, the hall was silent. Then came the chuckles. They were not loud or cruel, but they were real. A deep clicking sound from one side, a low rumble from another. A soft wave of amusement moved through the council. Many expected the answer already. A large animal. Sharp teeth. Fast muscles. Something easy to picture. Anna heard it all. She did not react. Her face remained calm, almost thoughtful. She did not smile. She did not frown. She simply listened, just as she had listened since she was a child. Her mind drifted, briefly, far from the council hall. She remembered standing in a museum on Earth, years ago, looking at the skeleton of a massive animal. A creature that once ruled land and sea. It had been strong. It had been fast. It had been gone for millions of years. Strength did not mean survival. The chuckles slowly faded when the council realized Anna had not answered. Silence returned, heavier this time. The silver-plated alien tilted his head. "Human delegate?" he asked. Anna lifted her eyes to meet his glowing gaze. She did not rush. Rushing was a mistake humans had made too often in their history. She took a slow breath. Around her, machines hummed softly. Translation fields adjusted. Hundreds of alien eyes watched her. Some were curious. Some were bored. A few were sharp and judging. This was the first real question Earth had been asked that mattered. Anna thought of oceans deeper than any alien city, of mountains that tore clouds apart, of storms that swallowed continents, of tiny creatures that could end millions of lives without being seen. She thought of humans. Fragile, yes. Slow, yes. Weak in body, often. But still standing. Still here. The silver alien waited, patient but firm. Anna's lips parted slightly, then closed again. She decided not to answer yet. Words could come later. First, she needed them to see something. Slowly, deliberately, she raised her right hand. The movement was small, but in the massive hall it felt loud. A simple human gesture, common on Earth, rare here. Her fingers were open, relaxed. No threat, no weapon, just a raised hand. Confusion rippled through the council. The silver alien's eyes narrowed slightly. Several beings leaned closer. Others adjusted sensors and displays. A few chuckled again, but this time the sound was uncertain. Anna held her hand steady. She did not speak. The silence stretched. One alien whispered something to another. A floating being pulsed brighter, scanning her. No weapons detected. No energy surge. No hidden threat. Just a human, standing calmly, hand raised. The silver alien finally spoke again. "Explain," he said. Anna lowered her hand slowly. When she spoke, her voice was clear and even. It carried across the hall without force. "On Earth," she said, "we used to think the apex predator was the biggest animal, or the strongest one, or the one with the sharpest teeth." She paused, letting the translation systems catch up. "We were wrong." A few beings shifted. The amusement was gone now, replaced by interest. Anna continued, "Many of our strongest creatures are gone. Some died from climate, some from hunger, some from things too small to see." She looked around the hall, meeting gaze after gaze. She did not challenge them. She invited them to listen. "Our world is dangerous," she said. "Not because of one creature, but because it changes. It freezes. It burns. It floods. It shakes. It tests everything that lives on it." The silver alien said nothing. He listened. "And yet," Anna said softly, "humans are still there." She let the words settle. "We are not the fastest. We are not the strongest. But when the world changes, we change with it." The hall was quiet again, but now it was a different silence. It was focused. Anna did not finish her answer. Not yet. She knew better. Humans survived long nights by saving their strength. This was only the beginning. She folded her hands calmly in front of her and waited, letting the council think. Far above, the lights of the hall shimmered softly, as if the galaxy itself was holding its breath. Anna kept her hand raised, steady and open. She did not clench her fingers or point at anyone. It was not a sign of challenge. It was not a signal of power. It was simply a gesture meant to pause the moment. The effect was immediate. Across the vast council hall, conversation stopped. Soft movements slowed. Even the quiet hum of machines seemed less noticeable. Hundreds of eyes remained fixed on the humans standing alone at the center. Silence settled like a heavy blanket. Anna could feel it. Not fear, not pressure, but attention. This was the moment when humans were usually judged. Too emotional. Too loud. Too quick to react. She refused to be any of those things. Slowly, she lowered her hand. Only then did she speak. "On Earth," Anna said, her voice calm and even, "we once believed the apex predator was the strongest animal." Her words were carried by translation fields, shifting smoothly into hundreds of alien languages. She waited a short moment to make sure everyone understood. "We believed it was the one with the biggest body," she continued, "or the sharpest teeth, or the fastest speed." Several council members nodded slightly. This idea was familiar. Many worlds had followed the same rule. Anna took a small step forward, not toward any single being, but toward the center of the space itself. "But Earth taught us something different," she said. A tall, wide alien near the outer ring let out a low sound of interest. Another leaned forward, resting its long arms on a glowing platform. They were listening now. "Our planet changes," Anna said. "Often. Without warning." She raised her eyes to the ceiling, where faint images of stars drifted slowly. "It freezes," she said. "It burns. It floods. It dries. The land breaks. The seas rise. The air turns against you. Images appeared above the floor, called up by the council's systems. Ice spreading over continents. Violent storms twisting across oceans. Volcanoes pouring fire into the sky. None of it was violent in detail, but the meaning was clear. Many powerful creatures lived on Earth, Anna went on. They were strong. They were feared. They ruled their time. She paused. They are gone. A ripple of quiet understanding moved through the hall. They did not fail because they were weak, she said. They failed because they could not change fast enough. The silver-plated alien who had asked the question watched her closely now. His glowing eyes dimmed slightly, a sign of deep thought in his species. Anna's hands rested loosely in front of her. Humans are not built to dominate nature, she said. We are built to respond to it. She lifted one finger slightly, not pointing, just emphasizing. When the cold came, we learned to make fire. When the sun burned us, we learned to build shelter. When the land could not feed us, we learned to move. The images above shifted. Small human figures huddled near flames. Simple shelters formed from stone and wood. Groups walking across empty land. We did not grow thicker skin, Anna said. We made clothing. We did not grow claws, she said. We made tools. We did not grow fangs, she said. We learned to plan. A low murmur spread through the council. Not laughter this time. Something closer to surprise. Anna continued, her tone steady. And when tools were not enough, she said, we learned to learn faster. She turned slowly, letting her gaze pass across the many beings. We taught our young. We shared knowledge. We remembered our mistakes. She paused again, letting the words settle. Earth's apex predator is not defined by muscle, Anna said. It is defined by adaptation. One of the council members, a broad being with layered skin, spoke for the first time. Its voice was deep and slow. Many species adapt, it said. This is not unique. Anna nodded respectfully. That is true, she said. But few adapt as quickly. And fewer still adapt together. She gestured gently with her hand. When one human learns something useful, she said, others learn it too. Across distances. Across generations. She allowed herself a small smile, not proud, just honest. We do not survive alone. The hall was quiet again. Not empty silence, but full silence. Thoughtful silence. Anna continued. When predators on Earth hunt, she said, they hunt prey. She paused, then said, humans hunt outcomes. Several beings tilted their heads. Translation systems adjusted. We hunt safety, she explained. We hunt stability. We hunt solutions. She took another small step forward. When faced with danger, we do not always fight, Anna said. We observe. We test. We wait. Her voice softened slightly. And when fighting will destroy us, she said, we choose another way. The silver alien finally spoke again. You describe endurance, he said, not dominance. Anna met his gaze. Yes, she said. Endurance is dominance over time. She let that sit. Earth's apex predator, she said, is not the one that wins every battle. She raised her hand again, briefly this time. It is the one that is still standing after the battles are over. No one laughed now. Some council members exchanged looks. Others remained perfectly still. Anna lowered her hand. We are still here, she said quietly. She did not say anything else. She did not need to. The council hall seemed larger somehow, as if the space itself had shifted. The human standing at the center no longer felt small, not because she had grown but because the idea of strength had changed. Anna stepped back to her original position and folded her hands calmly. She waited, and across the stars, ancient minds began to rethink what an apex predator truly was. Light shifted across the council hall as the central system responded to Anna's words. Without a command spoken aloud, holograms slowly rose from the floor. They were wide and clear, forming a moving circle around the human delegate. The images were soft at first, almost quiet, as if easing the council into what it was about to see. The first image showed a frozen world. White stretched in every direction. Ice covered the land and sky alike. Wind moved like a living thing, pushing snow across empty plains. The temperature readings appeared beside the image, numbers far below what most council species could survive. Small human figures moved across the ice. They were wrapped in thick layers. Their faces were red from cold, their steps slow but steady. They carried simple tools made of stone and bone. Fire burned inside small shelters built from snow and hide. Anna did not speak. She let the images do the work. Around the outer edge of the hall, several beings shifted uneasily. For many of them, such cold meant death in minutes. The hologram changed. Now the land burned under a harsh sun. Sand dunes stretched beyond sight. The air shimmered with heat. There was little water, little shade. Survival seemed impossible. Again, humans appeared. They moved carefully. They traveled at night. They carried water in containers they had made themselves. Simple shelters rose from sand and cloth. Fires burned low. Life continued. A low sound of surprise came from one side of the hall. The images shifted again. Violent storms tore across green land. Water rushed through broken ground. The earth shook. Mountains split. The sea swallowed the shore. The council watched humans cling to trees, rebuild homes, pull one another from floodwaters. They saw humans lose, struggle, fail, and then stand back up. The images did not hide loss. But they did not linger on it either. What they showed was time. Through it all stood a man near Anna. He was slightly taller than her, with short hair turning gray at the edges. His uniform was simple, marked with the symbol of Earth's science division. His name was Mark Allen. Mark did not look at the holograms. He had seen these images many times. He watched the council instead. He saw the moment when curiosity replaced doubt. Mark remembered when he had first learned these lessons himself. Not from books, but from data. Long lines of numbers. Survival rates. Population curves. Collapse and recovery, again and again. Humans bent. Humans broke. Humans returned. The hologram now showed early shelters. Rough huts made of wood and stone. Fires glowing inside. Families gathered close. Then villages. Then towns. Simple tools appeared next. Sharp stones shaped by patient hands. Spears. Nets. Wheels. Nothing powerful on its own. Powerful together. Anna spoke again, her voice steady. "We did not conquer these places," she said. "We learned how to live in them." The holograms responded, showing humans working together. One built while another watched. One failed while another tried again. Mark stepped slightly forward, standing just behind Anna's shoulder. He did not interrupt. His presence was quiet, but intentional. The images moved through time faster now. Walls rose. Fields were planted. Water was guided where it was needed. Humans learned the patterns of land and sky. They learned when to move and when to stay. A council member with long, thin limbs spoke softly. "Your species reshaped its world," it said. Anna nodded. "Yes," she said. "But first, it reshaped itself." The hologram paused on an image of humans gathered around a fire. Old and young sat together. One spoke while others listened. "This," Anna said, "is how we survived." She gestured toward the image. "We shared stories, warnings, ideas." Mark finally spoke, his voice calm but firm. "Knowledge," he said, "was our greatest tool." Several beings turned toward him. Humans rarely spoke out of turn in the council. That alone drew attention. Mark did not raise his voice. "A single human," he said, "is fragile. But humans do not exist as singles for long." The hologram shifted again. Now it showed writing. Symbols carved into stone. Marks pressed into clay. Words written on paper. "We remembered," Mark said, "even when those who learned first were gone." The council watched as the images moved faster. Cities rose. Roads spread. Ships crossed oceans. Humans traveled farther, faster, not because they were built to, but because they learned how. Weapons appeared briefly in the holograms, but they were not the focus. The images did not linger. They moved on quickly. Instead, they showed recovery. After wars, humans rebuilt. After plagues, humans adapted. After mistakes, humans changed course. Not always quickly. Not always wisely. But eventually, one council member, massive and slow-moving, spoke in a low tone. "Your history contains great loss," it said. Anna did not deny it. "Yes," she said. "We paid for every lesson." The hologram showed hospitals, scientists working together, people caring for one another during dark times. "But we learned," Anna said, "and we passed those lessons forward." The image changed again. Now humans stood on the edge of space, small figures against the dark. Machines carried them beyond their world, not to escape it, but to understand it. Mark folded his hands behind his back. "We did not leave Earth because it was weak," he said. "We left because we were curious." The council grew very quiet. The hologram slowed, then stopped on a final image. A simple one. Humans of many shapes and colors stood together. No weapons. No armor. Just people. The image faded. The lights of the hall returned to their normal glow. For a long moment, no one spoke. Anna looked around the room. She could see it now. The shift. The change in how they looked at her. At Mark. At Earth. They were no longer asking what humans could destroy. They were asking how humans endured. Mark took a small step back, returning to his place. He gave Anna a slight nod. She returned it. The silver-plated alien spoke again, his voice slower than before. "You do not rule your world by force," he said. Anna answered softly, "No." "You remain," he said, "while others fade." "Yes," she said. The alien considered this. "To outlast," he said, "is a form of dominance." Anna did not smile. She did not need to. Humans had never been the strongest. But they were still here. And now the galaxy was beginning to understand why. The council hall was still quiet when the first warning sounded. At first, it was soft. A low tone spread through the floor, so gentle that many thought it was part of the station's normal systems. Lights along the curved walls flickered once, then returned to normal. A few council members glanced around, confused but not worried. Then the tone sounded again. This time it was louder. Symbols appeared in the air above the central platform, glowing in sharp colors. The smooth light of the hall dimmed slightly, and the faint hum of the station changed pitch. Mark Allen noticed it immediately. He turned his head, eyes narrowing as he read the data scrolling across a nearby display. His calm expression tightened, not with fear, but with focus. Anna felt it too. Not the data, but the shift in the room. The way bodies tensed. The way voices started to rise. A deep voice echoed from one side of the hall. "Report," an alien demanded. Before an answer could come, the floor shuddered. Not enough to throw anyone down, but enough to erase all doubt. Panic spread fast. Several council members spoke at once, their voices overlapping as translation systems struggled to keep up. Some stood. Some backed away from the center. Energy fields flared as a few activated personal defenses. A floating species pulsed bright red, a clear sign of alarm. Another slammed heavy limbs against the floor, demanding evacuation. Anna did not move. She watched. She listened. This was the moment that decided everything. Mark stepped closer to her. He spoke quietly, only loud enough for her to hear. "Primary power fluctuation," he said. "Looks like a chain failure." Anna nodded once. "Can it cascade?" "Yes," Mark said. "If no one intervenes." Another shudder ran through the station. This one stronger. A sharp alarm cut through the noise. The symbols above the platform shifted to urgent warning patterns. Now the panic was full. One alien shouted for security. Another called for weapons to be brought online. A third demanded emergency jump protocols, even though the station could not move. Anna raised her voice, not loud, but clear. "Stop." The word carried, not because of force, but because of tone. Some voices faltered. Others slowed. Enough attention turned toward her that she could speak again. "This station is not under attack," Anna said. "Weapons will not help." A few council members hesitated. Others looked offended. One growled low, clearly angry. Mark stepped forward beside her. "This is a systems failure," he said. "Likely caused by overload between life support and council translation arrays." "How do you know?" demanded a sharp voice from the upper ring. Mark pointed to the data stream. "Because the error started here," he said, "and spread here."
He spoke simply, clearly.
No long words. No blame. The station shook again, harder this time. Several beings lost balance. Energy shields flared brighter. Anna raised her hand. The same gesture as before. But now it meant something different. "Listen," she said. "Panic will make this worse." She turned slowly, addressing the entire hall. "Humans have faced failures like this before," she said. "On ships. In cities. In space." She met gaze after gaze. "We survived by working together."
A pause.
"If we argue," she said, "this station fails." Silence fell, broken only by alarms. Anna turned to Mark. "We need teams." Mark nodded. He was already thinking ahead. Anna faced the council again. "I need engineers," she said. "Anyone familiar with power flow, structural systems, or energy balance?" Some hesitated. Others stepped forward. A tall blue-skinned being moved closer. A six-limbed technician raised two arms. A floating shape drifted nearer. "I need those who can move through maintenance spaces," Anna continued. "Small or flexible species." More stepped forward. "And I need translators and coordinators," she said, "to relay instructions clearly." The chaos began to take shape. Mark started assigning tasks. Not commands, requests. "You," he said to a heavy-built alien, "monitor external power draw." He turned to another. "Can your species tolerate low light?" A nod. "Good," Mark said. "You'll handle internal rerouting." Anna moved with him, reinforcing, clarifying, calming. "No one works alone," she said. "Report every change." Another violent shake ran through the station. Lights went out along one wall. Emergency glow replaced them. A scream echoed from somewhere distant. Anna did not flinch. She focused on the beings in front of her. "Breathe," she said, slowly. It was a simple word, but it helped. Teams broke off, moving quickly but not wildly. Instructions passed through translators. Hallways filled with motion. Mark watched a power graph dip sharply. "We're losing secondary support," he said. Anna nodded. "Can we isolate?" "Yes," Mark said. "But it'll cut off half the station." Anna looked around. "Is anyone there?" A being with long eyes spoke up. "Storage and archives only." "Do it," Anna said. Mark relayed the command. Systems shifted. The station shuddered, then steadied slightly. The alarm softened. Not gone, but less urgent. In a maintenance tunnel, a mixed-species team worked side by side. One held a panel open. Another redirected energy flow. A third stabilized temperature. They did not share language, culture, or shape. They shared purpose. Back in a hall, the panic was fading, replaced by tense focus. A council member approached Anna. His voice was no longer sharp. "The core is stabilizing," he said, slowly. Anna allowed herself a small breath. "Good," she said. "Tell them to proceed carefully." Minutes passed. Then more. The station groaned once more, then went still. Lights returned to full brightness. The alarms shut down one by one until only silence remained. Data displays shifted from red to neutral tones. Mark checked the final readings. "Stabilized," he said quietly. Anna closed her eyes for half a second. Around them, beings began to speak again, but softly now. Relief spread through the hall. Some sat. Some leaned against walls. Some simply stood, stunned. No weapons had been drawn. No threats made. The station still stood. The silver-plated alien approached Anna and Mark together. "You coordinated this," he said. It was not a question. Anna nodded. "We helped," she said. He studied them both. You did not take control, he said. You guided. Mark answered calmly. Control creates resistance. Cooperation creates speed. The alien considered this. Your species faced danger, he said, and chose calm. Anna met his gaze. That is how we survive. Around them, the great station continued its quiet orbit, held together not by strength or force, but by planning, patience, and trust. And the council would never forget who had steadied it when everything almost fell apart. The council hall did not return to normal right away. Even though the alarms were silent and the lights were steady again, something had changed. The air felt different. The tension that once filled the space had faded, replaced by a quiet weight of thought. Many council members remained where they were, not rushing back to their seats. Some spoke softly with those beside them. Others simply stood still, processing what had happened. Anna Reed stood near the center, her posture relaxed but alert. Mark Allen remained beside her, checking one last data display before letting it fade away. His shoulders finally loosened just a little. They had not planned this moment.
But humans were used to that.
Across the hall, a path slowly opened as a senior council member moved forward. This being was ancient by galactic standards. Its body was tall and broad, covered in layered skin marked with faint lines that showed its age. It moved slowly, not from weakness, but from habit. When it spoke, others listened. The hall grew quiet again. The senior member stopped a short distance from Anna and Mark. Its many eyes focused on them, calm and sharp. Today, it said, we witnessed failure. Some beings shifted uneasily. And we witnessed response. It continued. It turned slightly, addressing the full council now. Many of us are strong, it said. Many of us command fleets, weapons, and defenses beyond counting. A pause. When danger appeared, it said, we reached for those things. Several members looked away, not in shame, but in recognition. Humans did not, the senior member said. Anna felt the attention settle on her again. She remained still. They did not shout, the being said. They did not threaten. They did not demand control. It turned back toward Anna. You observed, it said.
You organized.
You guided. Anna nodded respectfully. We did what was needed. The being studied her for a long moment. On many worlds, it said, the apex predator is the one that hunts others. A soft murmur moved through the hall. But your species, it said slowly, hunts something else. It raised one heavy limb and lowered it again, a gesture of emphasis. You hunt problems. The words echoed softly through the space. Mark glanced at Anna, then back at the council. His expression remained calm, but his eyes were alert. The senior member continued. When systems failed, it said, you did not ask who was at fault. You asked what was failing. When fear spread, it said, you did not fuel it. You calmed it. When time was short, it said, you did not compete. You cooperated. Anna listened, her face neutral, but inside, she felt a familiar weight. This was not praise she took lightly. Humans knew too well how easily pride could turn into mistakes. The being turned slightly, addressing other council members. You saw humans under pressure, it said. Not in battle, not in conquest, but in responsibility. Silence followed. A different council member spoke up, one who had earlier demanded weapons. You say they hunt problems, it said. But problems are endless. The senior member inclined its head. Yes, it said. That is why endurance matters. It looked back at Anna. Your species does not burn brightly and fade, it said. You persist. Anna chose her words carefully when she spoke. We are not fearless, she said. We feel fear often. She placed one hand lightly against her chest. But fear does not have to lead to rage, she said. It can lead to focus. Mark added quietly, rage feels strong. Resolve lasts longer. Several beings reacted to that. Some nodded. Some recorded the statement. The senior council member let out a slow, thoughtful sound. Many of us believed Earth would struggle to find its place among the stars, it said. Your kind is young. Your history is turbulent.
It paused.
But today, it said, you did not ask for permission to belong. You demonstrated it. The words carried weight. Anna felt a tightness ease in her chest. Not relief, something deeper. A sense that a door had opened. The senior member raised one limb again. The council recognizes Earth, it said, not as a threat, nor as a curiosity, but as a stabilizing presence. A ripple moved through the hall. Not applause, but agreement. Earth's place among the stars, the being said, is no longer questioned. Anna lowered her head slightly, a gesture of respect.
Thank you, she said simply.
The council did not rush into more debate. For a while, no one spoke. They needed time. Change, even peaceful change, required space. Mark leaned slightly toward Anna. You did well, he said quietly. We did, she corrected softly. He gave a small smile. Around them, council members began to approach, not aggressively, not eagerly, but thoughtfully. Questions followed. Calm questions. How do humans train for crisis? How do you teach cooperation across differences? What systems do you use to prevent panic? Anna and Mark answered patiently. They did not exaggerate. They did not claim perfection. We fail, Anna said at one point. Often. But we review, Mark added. We adjust. That, said a council member, may be your greatest strength. Time passed. The station continued its silent movement through space, steady and whole. Eventually, the senior council member spoke once more. Humans, it said, you do not roar when danger comes. You steady your breath. Anna met its gaze. We've learned, she said, that staying calm gives us time. And time, the being said, changes everything. As the session drew to a close, the great hall felt different than it had at the beginning. Humans were no longer the smallest presence in the room. Not because they were larger, but because their way of facing the universe had been seen. Anna and Mark stood together as the council slowly dispersed. Around them, stars drifted across the ceiling in silent patterns. Humanity had not claimed dominance. They had earned trust. And among the countless worlds of the galaxy, that mattered more than any show of force. The council hall slowly emptied. One by one, the great beings of the galaxy drifted away from the center platform. Some walked on heavy limbs. Some floated on silent fields. Others folded into transport frames and vanished in soft light. Their voices were low now, thoughtful, no longer sharp or proud. The crisis was over. The debate was over. But the meaning of what had happened was still settling. Anna Reed stood near the center for a moment longer. The vast space around her felt quieter than before, almost gentle. The moving lights on the ceiling showed distant stars, turning slowly, as if time itself had decided to slow down. Mark Allen stood a short distance away, speaking with a few technicians from other species. They were calm, respectful, and curious. He answered their questions simply, without long speeches or big claims. Anna watched him for a moment, then looked back at the hall. This was how humans had always survived, she thought. Not by standing above others, but by standing with them when things fell apart. She adjusted the sleeve of her uniform and took a slow breath. It was then that she noticed the young alien. He stood near one of the outer platforms, half hidden behind a taller figure. His body was slim and pale, his movements unsure. He was clearly not a leader, not a soldier, not someone used to speaking in large halls. He watched Anna closely. When their eyes met, he hesitated. Then slowly he stepped forward. Anna did not move toward him. She stayed where she was, open and still, giving him space to choose. The young alien stopped a few steps away. He looked down for a moment, then back up. His voice, when he spoke, was quiet and careful. "Human Anna," he said. "Yes," she replied gently. I am new to the council," he said. "This was my first session." Anna nodded. "Then welcome," she said. "First sessions are always the hardest." He seemed surprised by that, but he continued. When the systems failed, he said, I was afraid. So were many, Anna said. I thought the station would break, he said. I thought people would fight. Anna listened. She did not interrupt. But you did not, the young alien said. You did not raise your voice. You did not threaten anyone. He paused, clearly searching for the right words. You fixed the problem, he said. Without fear. Without anger. Anna felt a familiar tightness in her chest. She had heard this tone before. Not from aliens, but from humans who had seen disaster for the first time. The young alien shifted his weight. I have heard stories about humans, he said quietly. Some say you are dangerous. Some say you are unpredictable. Anna did not deny it. We can be, she said honestly. He swallowed, then asked the question that had clearly been sitting inside him since the crisis. Should we fear humans? He asked. The hall was almost empty now. Only distant movement and soft system sounds filled the space. No one else was close enough to hear. Anna looked at him for a long moment. She did not answer right away. Slowly, she raised her hand. The same gesture she had made before. But now it was softer. Lower. Almost casual. The young alien watched her, confused but attentive. Anna lowered her hand again and smiled gently. Not a sharp smile. Not a proud one. Just a human smile, tired and real. Only if we're given a reason, she said. The young alien blinked. What kind of reason? He asked. Anna considered her answer carefully. If someone threatens our people, she said. If someone tries to destroy what we protect. She looked up at the stars above them. But we do not seek fear, she added. Fear is heavy. It makes everything harder. The young alien tilted his head slightly. Then what do you seek? Anna thought of Earth. Of storms and fires. Of mistakes and second chances. We seek time, she said. Time to solve problems. Time to learn. Time to live. He was silent for a moment. Your species is strange, he said finally. Anna smiled again. We hear that a lot. He hesitated, then made a small gesture of respect, one used by his people. Thank you for answering, he said. Thank you for asking, Anna replied. The young alien stepped back and rejoined the others. Soon he too was gone. Anna stood alone again at the center of the hall. Mark approached her, hands resting at his sides. That went well, he said. She let out a slow breath. It could have gone worse. He nodded. It often does. They both looked around the hall one last time. It no longer felt like a place of judgment. It felt like a place of possibility. You think they understand now? Mark asked. Anna shook her head slightly. Not fully. He raised an eyebrow. Is that a problem? No, she said. Understanding takes time. She turned toward the exit, where a transport platform waited. Humans didn't understand ourselves for a long time, she added. Mark smiled softly at that. As they walked, Anna glanced back once more at the vast space behind them. She thought of the question that had started everything. What is Earth's apex predator? She knew the answer would never fit into a single word, or a single moment. It was not about strength, or speed, or fear. It was about standing in the middle of chaos and choosing calm. About facing the unknown and choosing to learn. About raising a hand, not to strike, but to steady the room. Beyond the station, the stars waited, and humanity, quiet but ready, stepped forward to meet them.